Corn. It's more than just a summer snack or a side dish on your plate. In the United States, corn is everything. It fuels your car, feeds your livestock, sweetens your soda, and fills the shelves of grocery stores from coast to coast. It's not just a crop, it's the backbone of American agriculture. And every fall in the heartland of America, a breathtaking transformation takes place across the vast fields of Iowa, Illinois, Nebraska, Indiana, and Minnesota. Farmers begin one of the largest, fastest, and most technologically advanced harvest operations on Earth. In this video, we're going to witness the largest corn harvests ever recorded in the United States. We'll see machinery worth millions of dollars moving with surgical precision entire convoys of trucks hauling grain around the clock, and harvest crews pushing their land to the limits to bring in more than 15 billion bushels of corn in a single season. That's not a typo. 15 billion bushels. That's roughly 381 million metric tons of corn. To put that into perspective, if all that corn were packed into standard shipping containers, it would take over 30 million containers to transport it. Stacked end to end, those containers would wrap around the earth more than 3 times. If converted into ethanol, that harvest could produce over 15 billion gallons of fuel, enough to fill every car in America for months. But this isn't just a story of scale. It's a story of engineering, innovation, and efficiency. Because modern corn harvesting isn't done with sickles and wheelbarrows, it's done with some of the most powerful agricultural equipment ever built. We'll explore the John Deere and Case IH combines that chew through acres at lightning speed, GPS-guided tractors and grain carts that move in perfect sync, on-farm storage systems that hold tens of thousands of tons, and the logistics networks that keep the harvest moving non-stop. You'll see aerial shots of golden fields stretching to the horizon, captured by drones flying above Midwest skies. You'll hear the roar of engines, the rumble of conveyors, the clang of kernels pouring into 18-wheelers. But most importantly, you'll come to understand what it takes to feed a nation and the world from the fertile soil of the U.S. Corn Belt. Because this isn't just a record harvest. This is a record-breaking system. Built over generations, fine-tuned by science, and executed with industrial precision. Welcome to the biggest corn harvest in America. Let's begin. The Corn Belt, where records begin. To understand how the United States produces more corn than any other country on Earth, we need to understand the region known as the Corn Belt. The Corn Belt stretches across the Midwest, from Ohio and Indiana in the east, through Illinois and Iowa, and into Nebraska, South Dakota, and parts of Kansas and Minnesota. This region is blessed with fertile loamy soil, flat land ideal for machinery, and a temperate climate that supports rapid crop growth. The scale is immense. In a single season, Iowa alone can produce over 2.5 billion bushels of corn. That's more than most countries. Illinois follows closely, with Indiana, Nebraska, and Minnesota forming a solid top 5. These states form the beating heart of American agriculture, and every fall that heart races as the corn harvest begins. Harvest season typically starts in late September and ramps up through October. During peak weeks, it is not uncommon for tens of millions of bushels to be harvested every day across the Corn Belt. Imagine fields the size of small towns being cut row by row, hour by hour. Convoys of combines and grain carts moving like clockwork. 18-wheelers lining rural highways, hauling grain to elevators, ethanol plants, and export terminals. The entire ecosystem of agriculture from field to freight shifts into high gear. In 2021, the United States produced over 15.1 billion bushels of corn, equivalent to 183 million metric tons. That's more than China, Brazil, Argentina, and Ukraine combined. And it's not just for food. In fact, the majority of American corn isn't eaten directly by humans. Roughly 40% goes to ethanol production, turning corn into fuel for cars. 35% goes to animal feed, powering the livestock and poultry industries. 15% is exported, shipped to countries around the world. Only a small fraction becomes food ingredients, starches, sweeteners, syrups, and cornmeal. This scale doesn't happen by accident. It's the result of decades of infrastructure building innovation in plant genetics, precision, agriculture, and market demand. In the next section, we'll explore the machinery that makes this harvest possible, from GPS-guided combines to on-the-go grain collection systems. Combines and convoys, the machines behind the harvest. At the center of the record-breaking harvest are machines, lots of them. The modern corn harvest begins and ends with the combine harvester. These massive machines, often from brands like John Deere, Case, YH, and New Holland, are technological marvels. A typical high-end combine can cut 12 to 18 rows of corn at once, strip ears from stalks, shell kernels from cobs, separate husks, chaff, and debris, collect and store over 300 bushels of corn in a single onboard grain tank. And they do this while driving at 4 to 6 miles per hour across fields as large as airports. But it doesn't stop there. Behind the combine is a grain cart pulled by a high-powered tractor, matching the combine's speed collecting grain while the combine keeps working. This on-the-go unloading allows harvesting to continue non-stop. Grain is then dumped into semi-trucks that line up along the edge of the field, forming a rolling supply chain to local grain elevators and storage bins. GPS systems guide every machine. Auto steering keeps rows straight. Yield monitors track productivity in real time. Moisture sensors determine when to harvest for maximum quality. And drones fly overhead, checking for plant stress lodging and remaining sections to harvest. Some farms even run multiple combines in parallel, like a choreographed ballet of agriculture. It's not uncommon for one operation to harvest 10,000 acres, or more in a single season. The sheer coordination is stunning. This isn't just farming, it's logistics technology and human skill operating in perfect sync. In the next section, we'll explore how this harvested corn is stored, moved, and monetized, and how America manages to handle billions of bushels each fall. Storage, shipping, and strategy. Once corn leaves the field, the next challenge begins handling it. Billions of bushels have to go somewhere and fast. Across the Midwest, you'll find towering grain bins dotting the landscape. Some are family-owned, storing 50,000, 100,000 bushels. Others belong to cooperatives or agribusiness giants and can hold millions of bushels. Grain dryers reduce moisture to safe storage levels. Aeration systems prevent mold. Conveyor belts and augers move corn from truck to bin in minutes. But storage is only temporary. From there, corn is shipped via rail to processing plants and animal feed mills, loaded onto barges that travel the Mississippi River down to the Gulf of Mexico, transported by trucks to ethanol refineries and biofuel terminals. The logistics are staggering. During peak harvest, railroads run nonstop. Barges queue along riverbanks. Export terminals in Louisiana and Texas operate 24/7. America's corn infrastructure is built for scale, and it has to be. Any disruption like flooding, labor strikes, or mechanical failure can ripple across the supply chain. Futures markets also play a role. Farmers may store corn until prices rise, or they may sell immediately to secure cash flow and repay seasonal debt. In the next section, we'll look at the economics, what this corn is worth, how prices fluctuate, and how the harvest affects global markets. In 2022, U.S. corn brought in over $86 billion in total revenue. That's more than the GDP of some countries. But how is corn priced? It begins with the Chicago Board of Trade, CBOT, where corn futures are bought and sold. Prices fluctuate based on weather patterns, global demand, export policy, transportation costs, crop disease, and pest outbreaks. At harvest, prices often dip a surge in supply. But if exports are strong, or if global production drops, e.g. drought in Argentina, prices can rise sharply. For farmers, timing matters. Some pre-sell months in advance. Others hold grain in storage, hoping for better prices. Government programs like crop insurance and subsidies provide stability, but can also shape planting decisions. It's not just a business, it's a gamble. And in a year of record harvest, the stakes are higher than ever. Up next, how farmers manage risk and how climate change could reshape the future of corn. Weather risk and the future of corn. Corn is resilient, but it's not invincible. Late spring rains can delay planting. Summer droughts stunt growth. Early frost can kill immature ears. And windstorms, known locally as derechos, can flatten entire fields. Farmers use hybrid seeds, crop rotation, and precision timing to hedge risk. But climate change is shifting the playbook. Longer growing seasons, unpredictable rainfall, and extreme weather events mean that even with the best equipment and planting yields are no longer guaranteed. Technology is trying to keep up. Drought-tolerant corn varieties, satellite-based crop monitoring, AI models to predict pest outbreaks, carbon-smart farming incentives, but there are limits. The future of corn depends on balancing productivity with resilience and finding ways to grow more with less. Let's wrap up with a final look at what this all means for food, for fuel, and for the planet. Conclusion. The crop that powers America. Corn isn't just a crop. It's a symbol of scale, efficiency, and American ingenuity. Every fall, across thousands of square miles, millions of tons of corn are harvested with breathtaking speed and precision. The numbers are hard to grasp. Billions of bushels, billions of dollars, billions of decisions made at the intersection of weather technology and human effort. This harvest feeds livestock, fuels cars, and forms the base of countless food products. But it also comes with cost, environmental pressure, rural labor, challenges, volatility, and climate risk. Yet despite everything, farmers rise each season ready to plant, harvest, and haul. Because the world depends on corn more than most people know. This is the story of the world's largest corn harvest, and next year it might be even bigger. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about the world's most impressive harvests.